I decided to write a book this year entitled Opportunities and Limitation for Biotechnology Innovation in Brazil. I was stimulated by the fact that science exploded in Brazil in the last 40 years. We used to produce 0.4% of the world's scientific output, and now we produce 2.6% of this output. However, we don't see innovation that should in fact come from this science that was gradually built in Brazil. Taking biotechnology as an example, there are differences when we look to agriculture and we look to the pharmaceutical sector. In agriculture, Brazil used to produce 30 million tons of grain in 1960. And at every 20 years, we multiplied that by 2. We doubled the agricultural production in such a way that by 2020, Brazil will be producing 240 million tons of grain. Two important facts produce these consequences in agriculture. First, in 1965, we passed the law that assured that seed industry was going to be private. And because of that, all the large corporations that should be dealing with agriculture all over the world are now in Brazil. Basf, Dow, Dupont, Syngenta, Monsanto. All these companies came because we have the possibility to deal with the seed industry in a private way. It was not like that in the past. In fact, São Paulo wanted to produce a system that was public, but didn't work, fortunately. When we look to the pharmaceutical sector, the situation is very different. First, we don't have the big pharma investing in Brazil. Pfizer, Dupont, Abbott, Merck, these companies do not invest in Brazil. They claim that they do not invest because the laws are not adequate. The patent law is too restrictive, and we cannot access biodiversity to get molecules that might be important to produce new drugs. Brazil never registered a blockbuster in FDA or EMEA. And that's precisely because the private companies in Brazil do a lot of copying, like in generics and biosimilars, but no innovation is produced by these Brazilian, so-called Brazilian companies. And recently, to aggravate the problem, we have activists invaded the Instituto Royal, the only one that could produce preclinical tests in animal, and destroy the institute completely. Because the institute was private, they closed doors. All the animals were taken from the institute, and now we don't have a system that can replace the system that was in Instituto Royal. So the future of the pharmaceutical sector is really very complicated. On the other hand, in agriculture, the results are more promising.